Ernie, looking at the numbers for March, we're seeing an improvement in the overall, aren't we?
Well, our survey of supply managers in 9 states, the Mid-America region, that survey for the month of March, the number took its biggest 1-month jump in over a year. So it was very good news. We're seeing this regional economy, much like the national economy, is getting stronger and stronger. And of course, that's meaning more and more jobs. We're seeing new orders really push. New orders was a lot to do with new orders. New orders bounced up for the month. One of the biggest 1-month jumps in new orders that we've recorded in a couple of years. So that was the good news for those states stretching from North Dakota and Minnesota in the north all the way down to Arkansas and Oklahoma in the south. All across, every state had an index, leading economic indicator, above growth neutral. So it was good news, and the good news was broad-based.
We didn't see an impact from the sequestration, did we?
We did not. We asked the supply managers how the federal spending sequestration was affecting their businesses. Not much at all. More than 3/4 of them said no impacts at all. Another, about 26%, 1/4, a little more than 1/4, reported only modest impacts. So the federal spending sequestration, not seeing any impacts out there right now. And of course, that's good news for those who feared there may be that may cut into economic growth. Did not for our survey for the month of March.
Now, looking at wholesale prices, that was quite a change as well.
It was, Cindy. Our inflation gauge was down considerably, and that was very unexpected. In other words, this is the best of both worlds. We got an upturn in the index, the leading economic indicator, and at the same time, inflationary pressures at the wholesale level came down. We asked the supply managers to look out over the next year and tell us, how much do you expect prices to grow by? About 2%. Now that's quite a come down in inflation and inflation expectations, and that's good news. That gives the Federal Reserve some room to move, at least continue their cheap money policies, and we're going to continue to see these cheap money policies, and they are having some impacts. Of course, not all good. Instead of consumer prices and wholesale prices growing, we're seeing asset prices such as farmland prices push up. But when you look to the overall goods and services, not much inflation out there right now.
We also saw an improvement in employment, didn't we?
Absolutely, Cindy. The job picture is looking much better. Durable goods manufacturing looking good. Non-durable goods manufacturing also good. If you look and dig down below the surface on that, agricultural equipment manufacturing much better. We did have, it was quite expected, I guess, is in Minnesota, the medical equipment supply manufacturers, little softer numbers there because of the new sales tax to support health care reform. But all in all, it was a very good report. We even saw, Cindy, telecommunications looking better in Kansas. Now that's a pretty big sector for the state of Kansas. That's the first time that number's, the expectations, the business activity there up in quite some time. So that was good news. It's very difficult, and that's a good thing, to find many negatives out of this March survey of supply managers.
Was that reflected in the confidence number?
It was, Cindy, the bounce upward in economic confidence, and of course also in inventories. Because of the expected upturn in business activity, supply managers reported that they had increased their inventory levels, and likewise their confidence is up. And at this point in time, it's looking much better. Construction activity doing better across most of the states. A couple of the states not so strong in construction. The hours worked pretty strong there. We didn't see as much of an increase in hours worked, but when you look back to the job picture, we're probably right now, I'm expecting 1.5% to 2% job growth at least in annualized over the next few months, and that's very good. U.S. much like that as well. We'd like to see it growing above 2%, but that's still a little beyond what our survey is indicating right now, but we're moving in the right direction, little doubt about it. We did see exports soft. It was ever so slightly above growth neutral at new export orders. Imports increasing. So this really points to the trade deficit is probably going to remain fairly weak for the nation, and meaning the imports, the trade deficit will be growing maybe to as much as $50 billion per month. And of course that's a drag on growth, and it is a drag on the regional growth, but not that much right now. But that was, of all the indicators in our March report, that's the only one you could say is on the negative side.